Lux your way with the Lux Cravings boxes from Taco Bell. There's the classic $5 box, the indulgent $7 box, and a whole new obsession in the $9 box, the Flamin' Hot Grilled Cheese Burrito. Try the Lux Cravings boxes at Taco Bell today.
How's your day going?
Going good, thank you, yes.
Check out the all-new Blue and Orange store at the Boise State Hall of Fame. The Blue and Orange store has your best game day gear. We're talking jerseys, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, more than 4,000 hats on the hat wall. If you want the best Boise State gear, make sure you check out the Blue and Orange store online at theblueandorangestore.com or the all-new Blue and Orange store down at the Boise State Allen Noble Hall of Fame.
As sports fans, we may cheer for different teams, but there's one thing that we can all agree on. We want the game to be big. And with 3 levels, 30 cabanas, a 143-foot screen, 6 clean pools, and endless cold drinks, it doesn't get any bigger or any better than Stadium Swim in Las Vegas. All sports, all seasons. It's more than a pool deck. Stadium Swim. It's the only thing like it in the world.
Really, guys?
What? Jackson's always has this game ready.
Let's go!
It's the all-wheel drive event at Lithia Ford of Boise. From hunting trips to ski trips to trips to Grandma's house. Nobody does AWD like LFB, Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
Find your sun with Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. Cold, refreshing, and made for moments like these all year long. Let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser.
When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust rowpaint.com to get that job done right.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live is the only daily show that talks nothing but Boise State sports. And we do it with you. Give us your comments or questions in the ICCU YouTube chat. Or leave us a voicemail on the Signature Roofing voice inbox at speakpipe.com/BNN. BNN broadcasts come from the Sun Cruiser Studios. Sunny days call for Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea, made with real iced tea and real vodka. It's refreshingly smooth and easy to drink. Crack open a Sun Cruiser and let the good times cruise. Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, Lithia Ford of Boise, and our major sponsors, Taco Bell, Idaho Central Credit Union, RoadPaint.com, and the Blue and Orange Store. At Lithia Ford of Boise, we're proud to stand with Boise State Athletics. Through our NIL marketing partnerships, we're investing in the future of student athletes. Lithia Ford of Boise, here to get you there, wherever that may be. Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho. Broadcasting from the Sun Cruiser Studios, here's BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, good morning, Bronco Nation. How we doing? Welcome on into a live edition here, Bronco Nation News Live, here in Laramie, Wyoming. We have made it to the team hotel. We have taken over the lobby, so apologize for folks having breakfast, but we are here to talk Boise State basketball And we'll talk a little football, a little CFP recap as well as we get you set for Boise State and Wyoming coming up tonight, 6:30, as you see at the bottom of the screen there from the Arena Auditorium here in Laramie, Wyoming. So Boise State and Wyoming tonight, 6:30 on the Mountain West Network, and we have full coverage here on Bronco Nation News. As always, Bronco Nation News, the only local media outlet other than Bob and Abe on the radio side, KTIK, that made the trip here to Laramie. And not one of the easier trips to get to, not one of the cheaper trips, but Bronco Nation News on the scene here in Laramie, and excited to bring Boise State basketball coverage to you exclusively here on Bronco Nation News. Excited to have our man Tim Duryea. Hopefully you can hear us okay, by the way. See us okay. We are on hotel Wi-Fi, so you never know how that's going to go. But so far, so good, and we appreciate the front desk for helping us out here with the high-speed Wi-Fi. We'll see how that works. But here in the lobby of the team hotel, like I said, we have the fireplace here. We get to nice little warm morning here. Windy, cold outside, but nice and cozy here in the team hotel, and we are excited to bring you Boise State basketball coverage. As I said, excited here in about 5 minutes. Tim Duryea, assistant coach, is going to join us. I know there's been some talk about the offense and some of the struggles we've had offensively. I'm really excited to dive into this offense with Tim Duryea on a game day, nice enough to sit down with us and talk about this offense, where it's getting better, where it needs to get better, what happened during some of those games where there wasn't much going on. So Tim Duryea, as you know, people have been a little critical at times of what he's doing, and he's been nice enough to agree on a game day to come on and join us live here in a couple of minutes. So looking forward to having Tim Duryea on, and we'll talk about this offense and talk about Boise State's matchup tonight with the Wyoming Cowboys. We will talk about the CFP as well. Congratulations to Indiana. What a game last night, winning the championship. Didn't win by as many as they needed to in some eyes, but win by 6. I think the spread was 7, 7.5, 8, depending on when you got it, excuse me. But Indiana, what a win last night. Congratulations to Indiana, national champions, and just incredible game for them. And, good game, fun game, and excited, excited to move on now officially to next season in the college football world, and excited for this game tonight, Boise State and Wyoming. As I said, Tim Duryea, nice enough to come on here for a couple of minutes. Coach Duryea, on a game day here. I'm going to slide in a little more if we can, but these chairs are kind of big. But how are we doing, Coach?
Doing good, BJ. Good to see you.
Appreciate you. Sorry, I've got your cord hooked up here. There we go. There you go. Live logistics on live show here. What? Tell me about just this trip to Laramie is never an easy one. I know for you guys now with the charter, it makes it much more like a normal trip for you, which really has to help, because I remember some of these years, and I just did it yesterday, having to fly to Denver and rent a car and drive 2 hours. I mean, it can take a toll on you. That charter has to be nice.
This trip, probably more than any in the league, it makes a big difference just because of the location of the airport. And I'll tell you, that bus ride from Denver to Laramie is always windy, and you get snow blowing, and you don't know what you're going to get. So the charter really helps you here. It makes this trip seem like a totally different trip than it did in the old days.
What I really appreciate on a game day for coming on here, and I wanted to kind of dive into this offense and where it's improved the last couple of games, where you want to see it continue to improve. I know there was that kind of lull there where the offense wasn't great, but for you, I guess, big picture right now, obviously, even in the UNLV loss, I thought it looked better at times offensively, obviously, certainly in the last game, but where are you overall with what you make of the offense right now?
Yeah, we're still making strides. And I think, the improvement of Dylan Andrews is really kind of where it all starts. And, your point guard is always an extremely important part of your offense. And he leads the way. He gets you organized. He makes plays for others. And, when he's shooting the ball well, obviously that helps us a lot too. But, Dylan has made a lot of strides in the last couple of weeks, and really just kind of getting comfortable. I think that's the most important thing with him is mentally the game is kind of slowing down, and he's figuring out, hey, where can I make plays for myself? Where can I make plays for my teammates? What the strength of our team is, getting the post guys more involved, playing off post double teams, which we see a lot of those. And so I just think it's mental comfort and physical comfort with him has kind of improved and ratcheted up the last week, 10 days.
You've been a part of some great offenses. You've also been a part in your career where things like this happen, where you have a stretch where maybe it's just not going the way you want to offensively. What What has been the challenge this year, I guess, overall with the offense?
I think every team, probably, or most teams go through, ups and downs offensively. And, you look at our team last year, and it's really the experience at the point, and then having Tyson, along the lines, we end up the 39th rated offense in the whole country last year. And, at the end of the year, we were machine-like when we got to the crown and really through the second half of the conference season. And so you kind of start all over with a new team, a new identity, a new point guard. Obviously Drew Fielder being in the mix is a little bit different style player that we can use both inside and outside. And so I think, we went through a lull there where we got a lot of good shots and just didn't make them. And then we hit a buzzsaw there with a couple of teams that really schemed up the game defensively, and we didn't handle that very well, and kind of went into an offensive lull. But the better our defense is, the better our offense is, because we can force misses. We can get out in the open floor. We've got guys that can spot up and make threes in transition. We did a good job there for a while of really throwing the ball to what we call the first post in transition and getting some easy baskets there. And so obviously it kind of goes hand in hand. When your defense is really dominant, which ours has been at times this year, it carries over to the offensive end. And when you got to take the ball out of the net all the time and really crank it out against really good half-court defenses, especially in the league where everybody really knows you well, offense gets tougher. But I think we did a great job at UNLV in really, reestablishing our purpose offensively inside to out, and that carried over, in the Colorado State game. So hopefully we can just keep going as, we kind of develop this personality and get better from here.
Tim Duryea, our guest, veteran assistant coach here at Boise State, playing Wyoming tonight. We appreciate on the game day coach's time here. And Coach Rice said after, I guess it was the Utah State game, something to the effect of what necessarily the game plan is or what the offense is supposed to be wasn't at that point necessarily clicking with what the players were doing and what you wanted them to do. How does that kind of what does he kind of mean there?
I think the main thing when you're a good offensive team, you have a great purpose on every possession. Your team knows what your purpose is. That matches up with the staff. You play to your strengths. It doesn't always mean you're going to get a great shot. Doesn't always mean obviously you're going to make the shot, but at least everybody is on the same page in terms of, hey, who are we playing through? Who is our first option? Who is our second option? What are we doing when those things are taken away? How do we get what we call the next action? We have a term NBA, next best action. When they guard one action, you got to get to another action quickly. And, with the 30-second shot clock, the quicker you can do that, with the more pace and the more purpose, the better. And I think that's really where we've improved and what we've tried to focus on the last couple weeks.
Feels like a lot of, again, my untrained eye watching the last two games seems like a lot more attacking the basket too. Has that been a key?
True. Definitely try to do that. Yeah, we always try to attack the paint, whether that's on the pass to the post, whether that's off the bounce, whether that's off a ball screen. The more paint touches you get, the higher your efficiency goes, the more you get fouled. And we've done a really good job this year of getting fouled and getting to the free throw line. We're a good free throw shooting team, so the more we can do that, the better. And that's always an emphasis for us.
We had a comment on YouTube coming in here. Somebody wanted to know, Coach, could you please explain the offensive scheme? What are you expecting when we bring the ball up the floor, and how does that change man-to-man or a zone?
Yeah, it does change. Zone, a lot of times, it takes a little bit longer to get a paint touch. Obviously, that's what a zone is designed to do, is keep the ball from going to the post, going to the paint. And, so we have a lot of what we call zone specials we run and try to put guys in different positions. When we see it's a zone and as opposed to where we see it's a man, we try to play a little bit more, free flowing style and with a little bit more inside emphasis with this team. So, teams that change up defenses a lot, that can give you problems, especially with a point guard that's new to your system. And so we expect to see some zone tonight from Wyoming, man and zone. And so the better we can kind of surf between the two and diagnose the different defenses, the quicker we can get on the attack.
So what's the average number of possessions you typically have in a game? Probably
roughly 70, give or take. Possessions.
70 possessions. How many of those 70 possessions are you running like a set play?
On misses, we're getting out and running. We're really never running a set play. And so again, the more stops we can get, the more we can get into kind of a motion game. On made baskets, most of the time we're going to try to direct the ball with a set, to a certain player in a certain spot, or get a certain action that we think the other team is susceptible to, that we can attack. So, that depends on, again, your defense. Your offense is tied to your defense. The more times we take the ball out of the net, the more set plays we're going to run.
So you have, I guess, just to explain for fans, you have a set, plays that is designed to do one thing, but then you have like an offense, so to speak, where just motion or just, cut, back screen. There's something where it's just a flow guys can get into where there's multiple things that just kind of play out during the 30 seconds.
No doubt. Yeah. That's on a made basket. We're going to try, like I said, we're going to try to quickly to get the ball to a certain player in a certain spot. And if that doesn't happen or can't happen, or we get double teams and the ball comes out, then we got to get to the next thing, which is really our flow game. And that's, that includes handoffs, ball screens, penetration, things that are trying to attack the paint. Stats will show you that the paint touches inside out threes are a lot more efficient than threes where the ball doesn't touch the paint, usually because you got the defense in a rotation. And that's our goal, every time offensively, is to create an advantage, either by throwing the ball inside or by penetrating the ball. If you get two people to have to guard the ball, it creates an advantage. From there, your statistics, your efficiency goes way up.
I was looking at some of the Ken Palm offensive numbers, and as you know, some of them are not great at this point in the season. But as you said last year, some of them weren't great halfway through, and you finished very strong. Is there one stat right now, if you could just, that you think could be a huge key to the offense really improving? I mean, obviously making shots is big, but is it some of the assist number stats? Is it whether it's 3-point percentage versus, shots in the paint? For some reason, your guys' block percentage is really low. Are you just playing a lot of good shot blockers? Do you guys just go in there and get blocked a lot? I don't know. That's a weird side story. But what is something for you where it's like, okay, if the offense is really going to continue to kind of evolve that next step, one thing I
think there's two things really. They're 1A and 1B. Our 2-point percentage around the rim needs to get better. We've missed some shots in there that we have the ability to make. And then the other thing is our turnover percentage. If that could lower a little bit, and we're not turning the ball over at an alarming rate, but there's 2 or 3 turnovers per game that we could avoid. That would really help our turnover rate. That obviously it gives you 2 or 3 more chances, to get the ball on the rim with a shot. We're a good offensive rebounding team. And so anytime we can get a shot on the rim, we have a great chance to either make it, obviously, or, get a second shot. And so I think those two things, 1A and 1B, our 2-point percentage, which last year was phenomenal, way up there in the country. That's been a big difference. And then, like I said, 2 or 3 turnovers a game that kind of unforced that you'd like to eliminate. That would be great.
We got Javen Buchanan's dad in the chat, says, bang in the paint, coach. We got a lot of guys, fans excited. 2 quick ones, and I'll get you out of here. Now you got to get back to your prep here, and I appreciate your time. But just you mentioned Dylan Andrews. What we've seen from him the last 2 games, it seems like most of the shots are, for the most part, I know that you guys are trying to avoid maybe that long 2-point jumper and either get to the paint or take the 3. But for the most part, he's taking a lot of the same shots. He just started to make some more of them in the last game. But if he's playing and hitting shots at this level and doing what he's doing, not turning the ball over, and his assist numbers have gone up, if you're getting this version of Dylan Andrews that we've seen the last 2 games, the rest of the season, how good does that make this team?
We take a big jump. We take a big jump. That one, and, we mentioned Javen, obviously, not having him healthy for the last 3 games has been huge because, he's a guy that gives us obviously a threat from 3, but he's also a guy that we really try to take advantage of mismatches inside and throw him the ball in the post. And so that's an element that obviously we've missed the last 2 or 3 games. And, he was phenomenal to start the Colorado State game. He set the tone really on both ends and got us going and got us in the right frame of mind. And then, he hadn't played in a while, so his body kind of gave out on him a little bit, there in the second half. But if we can get him healthy and keep him going the right direction along with Dylan, those are 2 humongous reasons for us to be able to improve offensively.
Sundance Wicks in year 2 at Wyoming. Obviously, they've got a pretty good squad this year. I mean, that UNLV score gets your attention. Some of the other games they've had, and always for different reasons, a tough place to play here in Laramie as well. For the hundreds of fans watching this right now, what's the scouting report on Wyoming, and just to look ahead to the game tonight?
Yeah, they're a perimeter-oriented team. They do a good job offensively, and probably they throw the ball to the ball screen or to the roller probably more than any team we've played all year. That, and they'll change defenses a little bit on you. But I think the number one thing Sundance has got them to, they play extremely hard, and they take a lot of pride in, being at Wyoming and their home floor at Wyoming, and have done a good job here. And he's instilled a lot of, pride in the program, and they play really, really hard. No matter if they're playing, their man defense, they'll switch it up and play some 1-2-2 zone, and they get after you defensively, and they rebound as a group. Even offensively, their guards will offensive rebound, and that's a problem. If usually point guards, 2 guards aren't used to their men going to the offensive glass. So we've got to be very cognizant of that tonight. Block out, don't give them second shots. And then we've got to attack the paint on them. They're a little bit down on their depth, inside, and we've got to play inside out, whether it's man or zone, get those paint touches and knock down some shots.
You going to miss Larry Dice, Coach?
I have to say, this is I love Laramie, but this is our last trip here, and that's good.
Well, Coach, appreciate your time. We'll let you get back to the prep.
Okay.
Good luck tonight. Thanks a lot for coming on.
Okay, thank you.
Tim Duryea, offensive coordinator, assistant coach here. Appreciate his time on a game day, talking about the game against Wyoming tonight. Jay Tust going to join us in just a second here. I want to thank a couple sponsors first. Again, really appreciate Coach Duryea coming on live on a game day and talking with us here, and appreciate Jay Tust going to join us in just a second as well. But want to thank Lithia Ford of Boise, online at lithiafordboise.com, our title sponsor here on BNN. lithiafordboise.com. You can check their full inventory of vehicles. They got some great deals going on right now with some 2026s coming in soon. So you get online, check them out, go visit their showroom there. We appreciate Jim Sturk and company. And again, congratulations to Ben Ford on the NIL deal there with Lithia Ford of Boise. Sun Cruiser, perfect night tonight. 6:30 tip off, get off for work, stop at Jackson's, stop at Ridley's, get some Sun Cruisers. And whether it's real iced tea, real vodka, Sun Cruiser, we appreciate them for their support of Bronco Nation News, and really have enjoyed having some Sun Cruisers, whether it's the iced tea vodkas, the lemonade vodkas, and I've been hearing from a lot of you guys. You guys are enjoying it as well. So get a Sun Cruiser and let the good times cruise. ICCU.com, Idaho Central Credit Union. ICCU.com, there's a branch pretty much on every corner, but the easiest is that mobile eBranch online banking right there in your smartphone. You don't realize what you're missing, folks, till you make the switch to ICCU, and they're now back on board as an official sponsor of Boise State. So check them out. Make the switch today, ICCU.com. If the Broncos can get 75 points tonight, you get a 75-cent fountain drink. That'll be on Thursday from our friends at Jackson's. Again, 2 days after the game, if the Broncos score 75, you get a 75-cent fountain drink, and that's using your Let's Go Rewards app. And don't forget, they do have that 99-cent coffee anytime, hot chocolate as well, anytime, day or night, from our friends at Jackson's. All right, Jay, you got me now. That Laramie internet, man. that Laramie internet. Hopefully you got me now. Jay Tust.
I think I got you. Yeah, bud.
There we go. I'm going to blame it on Jay Tust, folks. That was all or Jordan Beasley just walked by. I'll blame Jordan. Dealing with hotel Wi-Fi here, so we're doing the best we can. Apologize for that. Hopefully, I don't know where I ran out. I was talking. There we go. Are we back? Are we back? Do we have Jay Tust? You're muted, I think, Jay. We're blaming you. You're muted. There you go. I just switched.
You're blaming Jordan. You're blaming me.
I'm just kidding. I switched to the lobby thing, so hopefully we're good now. But if it goes out again, you may have to just start hosting here from now on. So apologize, folks. We're doing the best we can on the Wi-Fi here. You never know in hotel Wi-Fi. So last scheduled trip to Laramie for a while, Jay. I'll just leave it at that.
By the way, Tim Duryea, who is one of the nicest humans on earth, I think he put that about as politely as possible.
Which part? Oh, not having to come back?
If this is the last trip to Laramie, it's okay.
Well, I mean, I'm not trying to get people to, feel sorry for me or Bob or Abe or whatever, but the team travel now, as you know, Jay, with the charter is a little different these days. I mean, they're not doing much sightseeing in this town either. So, I mean, they come here, the hotel, it's a little different nowadays than it probably used to be coming in here where you had to fly to Denver and drive 2 hours. Like they charter right into Laramie. They stay in the hotel the whole time. They're a minute away from the arena. So in terms of some road trips, I mean, other than it just being super cold and windy and then the elevation and all that stuff you're dealing with certainly in the team. And, that part certainly can be a little challenging, but I don't know if the travel and all that part of it's as big of a factor as it once was.
Yeah, you're probably right on that.
Still not it's still nothing like, I mean, I know they're not sightseeing, but it's not like no one just gets excited to come to Laramie. No disrespect to Laramie, but there's not a whole lot to do here. And it's very cold and windy if you saw the flags whipping outside the hotel here.
Yeah, I'm right there with Tim.
When was the last time you were here? Was it a football game? I'm trying to remember when the last trip would have been.
Yeah.
Last year, 2 years ago. I'm trying to remember when they came here last.
2 years ago.
They didn't play Wyoming this year, right?
Nope.
Yeah. Huh.
Nope.
Well, what do you make of well, again, sorry for the issues on the Wi-Fi for you and for everyone else. We're back, it looks like. So, no, I didn't pack the Starlink on this one. It doesn't work unless you're outside. So I'm not didn't make plans to stand outside in Laramie, Wyoming for the morning show in mid-January. So you got to use the hotel Wi-Fi and any worse in Fort Collins. I actually don't mind Fort Collins. Nice little town.
I don't mind Fort Collins. Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
Fort Collins. That's the one thing I love about the future Pac-12. I think we got kind of the best college towns coming with us, whether it be Boise or Fort Collins, Pullman,
Fresno,
Corvallis, not necessarily Fresno. I guess I wouldn't describe San Diego as a college town, but I still like going there. So, I'm all right with that.
I don't mind Logan either. It's a 4-hour drive.
It's close.
It's right.
I don't like. I would never really pick to live in Logan. No offense, but
not missing Albuquerque. I mean, I do miss the Pit. I really like going to a basketball game.
I
hope they can keep scheduling some non-conference games with them because that would be a cool series.
Yeah.
Reno. I mean, Reno is Reno.
It's all right.
San Jose. Nothing.
I'll miss Vegas.
No doubt. And I think we'll still get the basketball conference tournament there and media days and some things. But
hopefully, yeah.
John Buchanan says John Wayne loved it. What do you make of what we heard from Tim Duryea was talking about the offense, Jay, and Dylan Andrews kind of being the key to that. We've seen the last 2 games they're attacking the paint more. Dylan Andrews' assist to turnovers is up. He's obviously playing much better. What's your perspective on this offense and how good it could be if Dylan Andrews is playing at this level and what you've seen the last couple of games with attacking the paint more and just some of the offensive things we've seen?
I think that's why, they brought in somebody like DA to come play like this. And, he seems to have, a lot of confidence in himself, and even talking with him after the post-game press conference, just the other day, he said he didn't really change much. It's just the ball went in. And I mean, you and I were kind of talking about it before the press conference. It didn't really seem like his shot selection changed at all. I mean, like the ball just kind of went in, and maybe it was just a little confidence that fueled that effort. But, more than anything, I think like in anything with sports, you can deal with compounding results, and I do think like when DA's got 2 turnovers in the last 60 minutes over the last 2 games.
Yeah.
Or, excuse me, one turnover.
Yeah.
In the last 60 minutes, last 2 games. I would say whatever. And so I think like when you're doing that really well, I just think that plays into confidence in other areas, and you make some shots, and the rest is history. But I mean, we definitely saw how important he can be, to this team. And I think it's all, they're still working on rotations and things like that. And it's kind of funny because Leon played with putting Dylan and AG in the lineup together, and there's times where they've used that off the bench, and it worked really well. It did not work really well when both those guys were in the starting lineup, and so they go back, they switch it up. Keen's now back in the starting lineup, and I think that you're just going to kind of see them try to ride this out.
What do you make of the matchup tonight with Wyoming? I mean, Ken Palm has it as a 1-point favorite for Wyoming.
Mm-hmm.
I think the spread, we were talking last night, it was BSU -1, saw somewhere. I mean, so this is pretty much a coin flip pick'em type game. And you look on paper and you would certainly think that Boise State is the better team here. I mean, I know they haven't played like it with the losing streak. Yeah. Ken Palm doesn't really factor in how you're playing, momentum, that kind of stuff. It just straight looks at the numbers. And as I said, they've got a 1-point win for Wyoming in the Ken Palm, but very interesting game tonight. I mean, if you win this game tonight, Jay, you've got Air Force and San Jose, your next 2 games, a chance to get on a 4-game winning streak, get back to 5-5 in conference, and at least kind of take a deep breath and reset a little bit. And it's a long climb from here, but certainly if you win tonight, it makes it a little easier to at least get back to 500 in league and start to make a dent up the standings here towards that top 4 seed. But this is a key game tonight and a real swing game and one that the numbers a lot of the folks out there in Vegas think is going to be right down to the wire coin flip type game.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to say that Wyoming feels like they've been a little sneaky so far this year. I mean, the results in Mountain West Conference play haven't been like overwhelming or anything, but they play pretty well at home. They're 9-2 at home. They're obviously on a little bit of a tough stretch right now with 3 straight losses for them, but right before that 3-game losing streak began, they had that game where they absolutely hammered UNLV by 30 some odd points in Laramie. So those performances are enough to open your eyes a little bit and realize that you better not sleepwalk into this game. And I think that Boise State's also kind of identified, hopefully, what they have to do to be successful. And I would say for the first time in a little while, BJ, on Friday night, they seem to get off to a pretty darn good start. They played with juice from the jump. They withstood that run from Colorado State and then got it back out to an arm's length pretty quickly. Never really felt like the game was in jeopardy in the final 5 minutes or so. So I think it's, they go on the road, they rebound, they take care of the basketball. And I just and they play with energy and effort from the jump. And I just think the rest takes care of itself. Like, I think that's kind of always been how this team is. But if they can check those boxes, I think they'll just be just fine in Laramie tonight. That being said, if they don't, then they're going to be in for a dogfight.
What did we have on Bronco Studios yesterday?
We actually decided to take the day off there.
Oh,
so we ended up.
Sorry to put you on the spot there. Then good for you.
No, it's okay.
I was searching your Twitter feed trying to find what was on the show so we can promote it.
Have some awesome. We get some wonderful help from people that don't necessarily.
I forgot yesterday was a holiday.
It was.
Okay.
It was. Yeah.
You didn't take.
I would say we get a lot of help.
Then it was a holiday.
Yeah, we get a lot of help from people that don't sign up to live our lives or whatever that we do.
Yes.
BJ. So
no, I just totally forgot it was a holiday. It makes perfect sense.
We decided to just kind of move our.
Well, what's on the early agenda for tomorrow's show?
Yeah, I will say this. So obviously, Boise State had a football player go in the transfer portal recently, and he's still at Boise State. But he's just playing a different sport, right? So we're going to get Tayo on along with Pat McCurry, who is now his new head coach with Boise State track and field team. And then we're lining up Brandon Jones, just with the transfer portal closing, just seeing what, their process was and what they emphasized. And portal's closed, BJ. I mean, it means, I technically that doesn't mean that they're not, that they're done adding because you can still add. But in terms of
technically – today, tomorrow, some names could still show up in the portal.
Yeah.
All they had to do by Friday night was tell the school in writing they wanted to enter the portal, and it takes up to 48 hours to show up. So
still guys can still potentially join the roster, but in terms of guys leaving, the portal is closed. So that doesn't mean there might not be something later on down the line or whatever. But right now that's just kind of the way that it is. So
yeah. No, I wanted to actually talk football and portal with you for a few minutes here, Jay. But final thing on basketball, just overall, where are you with this team, Jay? I mean, the game tonight against Wyoming, as I said, got a chance to go on a little bit of a streak here. I know maybe at times hasn't been the season that you, I, Coach Rice, the fans, anybody would have expected, but still a lot of games to go. Where are you overall with the team right now?
I think that, I'm going to give you kind of something that I just thought about. So, they've had a couple cramping issues at the end of the last two games, right? And technically, when you go to altitude, that can be a problem. So, I think that it's taking care of what you can control for the most part. I think that's one thing that you want to see the guys make sure that they do their best to put themselves in a position where nobody's dealing with cramping issues tonight on the road. Because, whenever you go out on the road in the Mountain West, I don't care who you're playing, where you're playing, you need to be at full strength or as close as possible. So, they need to take care of that tonight for first and foremost, in my opinion. But I also think it's kind of it's a big 3-game stretch. At Wyoming is winnable. Then you come home and you take on an Air Force team that hasn't won a conference game this year and is only 3-15 in league play.
Has a coach suspended right now.
Yeah, and their coaches are 3-15 overall, I should say, haven't won a league game. Their coach is suspended right now. And then after that, you have San Jose State, who's 1-6 in league play, 6-12 overall. So it just feels like coming off the Colorado State win, you have 3 really important games in front of you before you head to Grand Canyon, host Nevada, and then travel to New Mexico. And so those are, potentially a lot of season-defining moments, I think, here. And, as you said, BJ, I think that right now, you shift your focus a little bit to the game in front of you, and with the sole focus of seeing if you can climb up to that 5 seed. And, and if you can get to that, then you worry about climbing higher. But like right now, I think the goal is to get to that 5 seed so you don't have to try to play 4 games in 4 days.
You got to get the 4 seed this year, Jay.
Oh, you're right. Okay, so you're right. No, you're right. Yeah.
Dang Grand Canyon joining the league.
You're right. My bad. Yeah. Now we have more teams in the league. You're correct. Well, okay, so now it's the 4 seed. Yeah, I mean, I'm stuck on whatever 14 years of history.
I mean, the 5, you would play the 12. It'd be a pretty easy win, but
it would. But I don't think you want to deal with playing 4 games in 4 days or any of that crap. So,
especially if you're a team that has to win the tournament to get in the tournament.
Yep, exactly. So you want to just put yourself in the best situation possible in order to do that, and that's why those. If you get hot here. You just kind of look at those teams that you're probably going to competing for that 4, 5, whatever spot with. And, you're looking at New Mexico and Nevada and Grand Canyon. Those teams are all in that area right now. It's too bad that Boise State couldn't pull out that UNLV game because it's another one that will eventually loom. Fortunately, that one's going to be at Extra Mile Arena. But I think that you just have to do everything in your power to try to put yourself in a position. I mean, we saw New Mexico do it not that long ago, 4 games in 4 days. This team, Boise State, their team is as deep as we've seen in a little while. But overall, BJ, this team still has the talent to make this season right. Like I might be foolish, but I still believe it. And until they tonight, I don't know. Tonight's a big game.
Yeah,
but
no doubt.
As it stands right now, I still think this team has enough talent to still, positively define this season. They just got to put themselves in the best position possible at the end to go do that.
All right, a little housekeeping here, though, Jay, before we do switch to football. The Hope House. The Hope House is going to be the charity. It's taken a long time. We've had holidays and traveling and just a lot going on. But you have identified the Hope House. In part because I don't know if you want to name the person or not, but you have someone that is willing to match the $300 donation to the Hope House.
Maybe we'll save that for a surprise for like the pregame show or something like that. And we'll see if he wants to come on, or I don't know if he wants his name out there.
Okay,
right
but
now.
someone reached out to you, someone that reached out to you and said that if you donated it to the Hope House, they'd be willing to match the $300 that Bronco Nation News is going to be donating. This is from the game, and I tried to pull the clip up here again, but the Wi-Fi is just not great here, so I apologize. But
I'll say this on top of the match too. Because you and I both love the Idaho Youth Sports Commission.
Yes,
but he said he still made a donation to them, hoping we would still consider the Hope House. So it just seems like there's too much goodwill going on here to do anything else but this. And,
this was from the Wichita State game, I believe. You were the play-by-play announcer, and we had fun, just kind of spur of the moment on game day. Kind of came out of nowhere. We copied off something the Field of 68 did, where we said if you sneak some words into the broadcast, I would give $20. I wasn't sure if you were, you're a professional. I'll just leave it. You take your job very seriously. I wasn't sure how open you would be, honestly, to do this. And it looked like you got off to a slow start, and then you got in your bag a little bit and started having some fun, and you were just, left and right going at it. And even would look over and have the little sly, smile, like, haha, that's another $40. So I think we got to 14, and I think it was like $260 or something was what it was. And I think we said we're going to push it up to $300. So if anybody wants to donate to the Hope House, I was doing some research on them, Jay. It exists. It's out in Marsing. It's for children between the ages of 6 and 18, and it's for they're emotionally impaired, developmentally disabled, and or come from disrupted adoptions and dysfunctional families. The mission at the Hope House is to provide a home-like family atmosphere where through love, structured activities, appropriate discipline, educational and vocational opportunities, and people who will listen, young people can reach their fullest potential. And like you said, we were made aware of this charity, the Hope House, by this unnamed person who's willing to help double the donation. So that's at least $600 we're going to be giving to the Hope House. I'll be making the $300 donation here this week for Bronco Nation News to the Hope House. And if anybody wants to make a donation to the Hope House, we hope you'll help out and be a part of this. And we're happy to announce that we're doing this again. Jay Tust did we decide on Saturday or Wednesday? You got to let us know.
We can figure that out.
Okay.
Some scheduling stuff came up, so I will be on the call play-by-play for the women's game on Wednesday night, so tomorrow night, and then on this weekend, Saturday, 2:00 tip-off against Air Force. I will be the co-pilot on that broadcast.
Now, who's the play-by-play on Saturday?
You know what? I'm not sure. I was just told that my role. I should have looked that up before.
Now, what do you think? Is it easy? I mean, certainly, I would feel like the play-by-play guy talks more and directs the conversation. So, do you think it's easier to get words in? I mean, if you're the color analyst, you're also not having to deal with some of the reads and some of the other stuff. You might be a little easier to sneak in the words, or do you think it's easier if you were play-by-play?
It actually might be easier, as like I said, the riding shotgun, because I might actually have some time to think about it a little bit.
So, do we want to try for Saturday then, or what do you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, we're going to try for Saturday, and maybe we can even, depending on who the play-by-play guy is, explain it to them what we're doing. Obviously, it has to fit in the flow of the game. You guys have a job to do. You're there to call this game professionally for the Mountain West Network. 2:00 game on Saturday. But if folks want to do it, I guess we can do it the next couple of days on the show, and we'll get Jay a list on Saturday. Are we okay to publish the list publicly in advance, or did people can they know what words they're looking for, or do we need to keep that part a secret and you just have to listen and figure out how many there were? I mean, do we want to have a bingo card with the words on them? How do you want to handle this in advance?
You tell me to jump, I'm just going to ask how high. You let me know.
Okay. Well, and I believe we agreed also on this one. The charity is going to be the Idaho Youth Sports Commission.
Yeah.
We gave the money to the Hope House for this time, so we're going to do it again. It made the game way better. Someone said here, Jay is a baller. Word game was amazing. So, we are going to do this again. We're going to be raising money for the Idaho Youth Sports Commission. We partner with them at Bronco Nation News for our golf tournament. Tim Brady does a lot of tremendous things to help some of the underprivileged youth in our community get to experience the joy of playing youth sports, Jay, whether it's helping buy them a baseball glove, helping them pay for a camp, helping pay their entry fee for a league dues or something, buying them cleats. They do a lot of different things to help with youth sports in the Treasure Valley and the surrounding areas. So Idaho Youth Sports Commission, hopefully you guys will step up and match, and maybe we have match it. Maybe you'll just do $1 every word Jay can get in there. $2, $5. We'll BNN wants to make a nice donation, and we're going to help out the Idaho Youth Sports Commission again. So kind of a fun thing to do, keep you entertained in the game, because as you said, Jay, hopefully in the second half, Boise State's up 25 in this game, and you can really start getting into your your bag of words here, but we'll do that hopefully on Saturday. We'll have more details later in the week. We'll get it on social media. But again, the Hope House is the charity that you can donate from the last game if you'd like to make a small donation to help them out. We will be doing that at Bronco Nation News. And congratulations to whoever not congratulations, but thank you to whoever the anonymous donor is that's going to be matching our $300 donation. Thank you to that anonymous person. That's very nice of them. $600 to the Hope House is going to go a long way, plus whatever other folks want to help contribute. So think of some good words, get them in. We need new words, not this guy says it was the only game all year his wife was invested in. So I don't know if that's, more related to the team or what Jay's got going on the call, but yeah, they want the checklist. They want us to publish it in advance. So maybe we'll tweet out a list for Jay, before tip off and try to have, I don't know if it's more fun to give Jay the list, right at tip off, or give him, a night to think about how to use some of these. I don't know.
Last night last time he came in like right before tip off.
Well, I wasn't sure you were gonna play ball and do it. You had way more fun with it than I thought you would, and your color analyst got into it as well with a couple.
She did. She was awesome. Yeah, it actually turned out to be a pretty good time. So
yeah. All right, Jay, I'm not going to waste your time going over the ad reads. I'll do them in a little bit. Football-wise, what's your take on – you mentioned the portal, and just to clarify with folks that I don't think we're expecting this to happen, but theoretically this afternoon you could see it pop up that a Boise State player entered the portal because it takes up to 48 hours to process. It can take up to 48 hours, I believe, for the school to have to put the name into the system. And you have with the holiday yesterday, I think they could even show up tomorrow technically with business hours, Jay. Not expecting that to happen, but I guess I'm just saying there's a 0.01% chance that something could still happen for another 24 to 48 hours, I guess. But with that said, we're not expecting that. We haven't seen any social media announcements or anything. So it appears Boise State really, did pretty well. I mean, you lost Ty Benefield. A lot of people, I think, thought he might go to the NFL, Jay, at least in that building. So I don't know how much of a huge loss. I mean, it's a massive loss, but I think some people were maybe preparing for that, Jay, ahead of time. You lose Chris Marshall. But other than that, no disrespect to any of the other guys in the portal. You didn't lose a lot of guys that had a lot of production last year. Some young guys that you were excited about, but not a lot of guys that hurt you, in terms of stats from last year. So they're still looking to add. Obviously, as you said, they had a visit, a JUCO D lineman. I heard there could be some good news coming on that. Make sure you're following the VIP message board over at BNN. Chris Van Sickle is all over that story. But they've added a lot of guys. Jay, what are they, over a dozen ads too, by the way? I mean, this is by far the most. I think they added like 7 guys last year. They're at like 13 or 14 now. I mean, they're really adding. We'll see how it shakes out with the roster in terms of how many spots they actually have, because they would appear to be over right now. That's another story. But overall, what do you make? I mean, on paper, they didn't lose too much, and they added positions of need to improve. We'll see what those, how those guys actually turn out when we get to spring ball and moving forward. But at least on paper, it looks like they had a successful transfer portal season overall, I would say.
You're right, man. Only time's going to tell. But I think that you go out and you look at the positions of need, whether it be starting, whether it be depth. I don't know, man. They addressed a lot, I feel like. And, Cage Casey's that's somebody asked me the other day, like, what's the most excited, who you're most excited about or whatever. And Cage was so damn good over the last 3 years that, any offensive lineman's it's always going to gravitate towards a skill guy or the guy that had 100, somebody that had 100 tackles or led the team in receiving or whatever. But for me, I think that when we talk about, protecting Maddox, keeping him healthy, doing what you want to do, which is running the football, that's going to be a big time role. And so the guy that they bring in, we assume that he's going to contend for that starting left tackle job. He was elite at the D2 level. Does that transition up to the D1 level? How quickly will he get up to speed, and can he be as consistent as Cage Casey was? So, but I just think that you look at any question mark that you really had going into this season. And I'll say this because there's probably, people, smirking or whatever in the chat. Any realistic question mark that you had going into the season, or vacancy or hole that you wanted to fill, you went out and you got the job done, I feel like, for the most part. And now they head into this thing. And I think the beauty of this, BJ, I think it was I feel like it was gosh, I want to say it was Marco Notriani, but I don't know if it was him now. But, just talking about last year and going into the season and stuff. And, that late transfer portal, man, it can really alter things. And not only who you add to your team, but who gets subtracted from your team. And you're really starting to go into player run practices in the summer, trying to get a grasp on who you are. And now Boise State and every other team for that matter in the country is going to go into spring ball understanding what their roster looks like, who they have, who they don't have. And now you're really utilizing that time and building a plan, on January 20th versus trying to figure it out in the middle of May or whatever it is. So I just think that they should be months ahead of last year in that regard.
By the way, Jay, being in the team hotel here, you see kind of funny things from time to time. I'm sure with football, you saw some of the walkthroughs and places they had to do things and whatever else. I mean, there's a hallway down here to my right, and it can't be more than 20 feet wide, and it's right by the elevator, but it's where the scout team and Mike Burns are going over the inbounds plays and things for Wyoming for the shoot-around here. Those guys don't get enough credit, by the way. The scout team, the managers, they're going, they're going through a whole, they're learning all the plays for Wyoming here in a hallway so they can be ready to run those here in an hour at their shoot-around at the arena auditorium. So shout out the scout team. Did they win? Did they win, by the way, last night, the manager games? I didn't see the tweet. I know I saw them leaving the hotel, and they were all excited, and they were actually asking, I think Leon Rice said, hey, you going to go play with them in the manager games? And he must have seen my free throw performance, Jay, 9 out of 10. And I didn't see if they end up winning, but I do feel like with Lexus and Kobe Carl, they've got a little bit of an unfair advantage in some of these manager games.
I would agree with that one. They get it done. I think the telling thing is, and maybe it's happened before, but if it has, it's pretty rare. But even last time, I believe it was Andrew Meadow, and we talked to him even after a loss, and he brought up, he's like, man, our scout, he was mad at their performance because how good their scout team is. Like, he's like, man, our scout team prepares us. They're great. They got some guys over there. I mean, Berto's kid, Ray, he does an awesome job on the scout team. I know Ethan Lathan does at times, and they have a really good scout team that's invested into making the starters better this year.
Yeah, no doubt. And they, I've seen them in San Diego. They were doing it outside, enjoying the nice weather. They're obviously not going to do that here, but Mike Burns and Tim Duryea are kind of walking them through the offensive, defensive sets for today, and they're doing it in a random hallway by an elevator here in Laramie, Wyoming. I mean, you do whatever you can to get ready for the game tonight. They'll have team meetings, some film session, then head over for their shoot around here at 11 a.m. Jay, any final thoughts football wise? You've talked to a couple of the new coaches. Obviously, we're going to get a chance. I think next week I talked to our man Alex about getting a coach or two on this show, so we're working on that. I saw Frank Miley at the airport yesterday heading out, and he said Chenander was going out. They're all heading out, and we're going to start to see some of those photos, I think, on social media. This is now the period where you can go see would this be the guys in their spring of their junior year, I guess, that are getting ready to be seniors. Would that be it for next year's class that are still technically juniors in high school? But I think that's the window now, right, where guys you can go visit them and see them and go to their school and things like that. And so I'm sure it was a stressful portal season, and that's over with. And right away, here's Frank Miley and all these coaches heading out recruiting, and it sounded like he was going to be gone for most of the next 2 weeks, traveling all across the country and stuff. So these coaches this is another big important couple of weeks. The players are getting back at it with the winter workouts, and then the assistant coaches are all heading out recruiting here for the next couple of weeks to start. It never stops, Jay. Start on that next 27 class.
Shout out to Alex and David, by the way. Like, now that I'm on this side and actually see how the sausage is made, if you will, it really isn't always easy to line up interviews for us. So,
and when you get, I'm sure you never do it, but when you get guys like me always complaining and having problems and issues and things, and I'm sure that doesn't make it any easier for them. So yes.
Yeah, probably not, but whatever. I wasn't implying that at that moment in time. I was just trying to.
I know. I'm just love. They do it tremendous. Hey, here's Abe Jackson. Abe Jackson's walking by.
Bronco legend.
He is one of the greatest people that having breakfast here in the lobby don't realize what they have. Jay Tust called you a Bronco legend here, Abe Jackson. There he is. There's Abe Jackson. You'll see.
And it's an incredibly nice human being.
And an incredibly nice human being, Jay Tust called you. There you go. We'll see Abe at 5:30 on the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show tonight. You never know who you're going to see walking. People just having breakfast here don't realize the greatness of Abe Jackson as they're walking by. But yes, shout out to the SID staff, and they're putting graphics and bios and stuff together on all these new guys they're getting, and And yes, they deal with me complaining all the time about interviews, and they get. I mean, those game notes are 40 pages thick, and they get their name. It's not like it's they're putting a ton of work in there and not getting much of any credit for it. So, shout out the SID staff. But big picture wise, assistant coaches now going out recruiting. You got the players back in the winter workouts, all the the early stages of next year's team and the year after. For that point, already being put together here. But nice transition period here as the spring semester starts, Jay, and the countdown. I think you said it was 251 days, 241 days.
Yeah, 200. I mean, unless Siri was lying to me last night. September 5th, 228 days away.
Okay, so 227 days. Maybe we should start getting a countdown in the corner of the screen and all these shows. 227. Man, that just seems like a long ways away. That's kind of a depressing thought, man.
Oh man, I'm getting
227 days.
Now that you're on this, I'm not going to say what birthday, but now that you're on the other side of milestone birthday, you're out, man. 228 days. Actually,
I am past 30. I am past 30. I am past 30. That's such a milestone.
Yeah. To me, that doesn't seem like a long time anymore, man. It's going to go by so fast.
Yeah. But any big picture thoughts, man? The schedule has turned. And
228 days.
All right, 228 days. So coaches out recruiting, players in the workouts, all the new transfers are going to, a lot of these guys had, semesters starting, but they got to go home and pack and hurry back, and they'll be coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's going to be interesting. I mean, just kind of a it seems like a long ways away, but you're less than 6 weeks from spring ball or so. I mean, spring ball's not that far away. So plenty of football discussion here to continue on this show, at least.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I'm excited, man. I mean,
we're about 6 to 7 weeks from spring ball.
I think that this is honestly, I kind of like this time, BJ, because it allows us to just focus on basketball for a few weeks, and then before we know it, spring ball is here, and that really gets us through, the cold Boise months of the weather and the inversion and all that crap. And then we look up and it's kind of May, and you realize you got to enjoy the next couple months because Pac-12 media days, all that other stuff is going to start quickly. And yeah, so I kind of enjoy this time a little bit.
Yeah. And 2 games a week for basketball. We were talking about this, a little different than football where you get more to talk about here.
It's just nice that, you're reacting to games and watching games more than you are just to the build up to a game.
Yeah.
So
we'll say that hits you the other way when you're you haven't even unpacked from one trip yet, and you're like, oh, I leave again on Monday for Laramie, and then I'm like, oh, next week I go to San Jose and Phoenix back to back, and it's like, oh man, there are 31 games as opposed to 12. It is.
Phoenix is a nice ad though.
It is. I'm looking forward to Grand Canyon. I don't know if you got a chance to see if anybody saw any of their game against Utah State the other day. That student section looked incredible. For a noon game on a Saturday, and they beat Utah State by 10. And I'm really looking. I've heard great things about the student section at Grand Canyon, so I'm looking forward.
Protect your cell phone numbers, though, boys.
Oh man, yeah, that was they got Mason Foslov's cell phone number out there. I believe the coach Calhoun as well was out there. That was something like I remember they have this Mizzou student section called the Antlers, and they would do that and call the Kansas coach the night before the game and some of their players. Like that's not the first time I've ever heard of that happening, but that's certainly Utah State fans were not. We're not happy that happened, that they started prank calling. That's probably crossing the line a little bit, prank calling.
It is. I will say somebody gave me a little perspective that an absolute tip of the cap to the herd here because they're very good. But maybe they're not completely innocent with some of the topics that they choose to address at times with opposing players as well.
Oh, no. I think they're tremendous. I've said this. I think they're tremendous passion and energy, and they get the gloves out and they're loud, but I would say they are definitely a little more pushing the line than some fan bases. No doubt. Yeah. No doubt.
I'm not saying let's not give away player and coach's cell phone.
Yep. They're not 100%. I would agree. They're not 100%. This is not disrespectful, whatever. They're not 100% immune to, occasionally saying something that may have been pushing, doing something that pushed it a little bit on the line. And I think they would even admit that. Some of the language I hear from the students, I mean, just being honest, some of the things like that, but for the most part, you can't deny their passion and their energy, and it might be the best student section in the Mountain West right now with what they have going there. So, 4 games in the Mountain West tonight, by the way, Jay. So Boise State 6:30 will kick it off, and then we'll have Tom Moser afterwards. But Jay, appreciate you as always. One more time tomorrow, 4:00 Bronco Studios. For folks that came in late.
I think the big one is Brandon Jones tomorrow, general manager of the Boise State football team. He's going to kind of break down how they decided to attack the transfer portal, what the roster looks like, and what's next for the Boise State football team.
And are they still looking to replace Kyle Young, or is Brandon just taking on some of those duties? Or
good question, man. I do not know the answer to that.
Okay, I assume in the short term.
And that's another reason, though, man. Like that Boise State lost somebody out of their recruiting department during a very crucial time, and it still seems like they were able to execute at a high level. So it just shows how talented some of these people behind the scenes are, a la a Brandon Jones, who I know we both think this, but I think he's a rock star. So.
Yeah, I think Spencer Danielson used those words about him when Chris Van Sickle wrote about him earlier in this year. So, don't miss Brandon Jones live tomorrow, 4:00. I'm sure you'll have a highlights reaction to this game as well. Boise State and Wyoming tonight. As you said, the women's team plays tomorrow night. Jay Tust will be on the call on the play-by-play. So for the women's game tomorrow night. So that'll be who they're on a 4-game winning streak.
Dude, they're playing some really good basketball right now. I think that they're an exciting team to watch. They got really, 4 really experienced seniors in the lineup right now. They're trending upwards in the Mountain West Conference standings, and right now they're 5-3 in league play. They're 14-5 overall. They're in the 4th spot right now, and in the women's basketball tournament, projected Mountain West tournament or whatever. So they got Fresno coming up. They have another chance to push this thing to 5 straight wins before they travel down to Grand Canyon, which Grand Canyon, they're only 6-12 on the season, but they're 5-3 in league play. So I just would assume that's not necessarily going to be the easiest victory for the women to go get, but they're playing really, really good right now. They're rebounding really, really good right now too.
Well, we'll be listening 4:00 Bronco Studios tomorrow, and then is that a 6:30? Coach
6:30.
6:30 tip-off. I know Coach Presnell likes those 6:30 games.
Yeah, like tonight. What a weird tip time for even a guys game. 6:30.
They will be back in Boise before midnight tonight.
Good for them, man.
They should be back in Boise by 11:15.
That's
maybe
great.
Home by midnight now. Abe and Bob and I, that's a different story, getting home tomorrow afternoon. But for the team, they'll be rested up. And this is a Tuesday game, Jay. They don't play till Saturday. So they get the extra day, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, to get ready for Air Force on Saturday. So, Well, Jay, appreciate you for jumping on, man. And, we'll get the list to you by Saturday. We'll have fun the next couple of days putting some words together. There's already been a couple coming in the chat. And then we'll have fun for the Air Force game on Saturday. But good luck tomorrow. Good luck on the call. And we'll talk to you soon, man. We always appreciate it.
Sounds good, buddy. Safe travels.
Make sure you go to their I noticed your YouTube channel is growing, so hopefully folks will continue to go to the Boise State Athletics YouTube channel. You probably already subscribed to it, but if you don't, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when Jay and company go live with their various shows there. So Jay Tust, Bronco Studios. Appreciate it, Jay.
Have a good one, buddy.
There he is, Jay Tust, Bronco Studios. Make sure you download their YouTube channel and everything there, Bronco Boise State Athletics, and he does a tremendous job there. Hey, Signature Roofing. I'll keep this thing going for a few minutes, see who else walks by the lobby here. Signature Roofing online at mysignatureroofing.com. Whether it's a re-roof, repair, an estimate, or an inspection, you can check out mysignatureroofing.com. And again, that's speakpipe.com/BNN. My Signature Roofing, and you can leave us a voicemail brought to you by our friends at Signature Roofing. We'll check that Signature Roofing scoreboard update here in a minute. 4 games tonight in the Mountain West. Matt Bauscher, Bauscher Real Estate, #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley is Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. Check out Matt Bauscher if you're looking to buy or sell a home. I think he's going to join us on Friday. We'll get Matt Bauscher to join us, and we're looking forward to that. So appreciate him. We bought and sold our home using Matt and his team. Tremendous customer service every step of the way. We'll pick our Matt Bauscher player of the game tonight. Bauscher Real Estate, BauscherRealEstate.com. Hey, Element Fencing, family-owned fencing company for more than 25 years, whether it's deck, cedar, wrought iron, vinyl. They can do pergolas, fences as well, decks. So Element Fencing, elementfencing.com, and we'll pick our defensive player of the game. But all your fencing needs, make sure you hit up Brady. And if you need to get that new fence, Element Fencing is who you need to check out. Hey, Ridley's Family Markets, they got a location here in Laramie, Wyoming. ShopRidleys.com is their website. ShopRidleys.com. Ridley's Family Markets online at ShopRidleys.com. They got 13 locations in the state of Idaho, others in surrounding areas and states like right here in Laramie, Wyoming. So Ridley's Family Markets, download Download that Skip app, get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line. Ridley's Family Markets online at shopridleys.com. Row Paint, 20% off your winter painting project using rowpaint.com. ROEpaint.com. You see it on the screen there, rowpaint.com. Whether it's the interior, exterior painting, those concrete coatings, 20% off those winter painting projects. Hit up rowpaint.com today. And Transportation Compliance Service, we appreciate them. A local company helping out folks all over the world getting into the trucking industry. And Transportation Compliance Service is who you need to call if you're looking for a fresh start, career change, a new job. They can help you at Transportation Compliance Service. We'll have another night in the Mountain West with Tom Moser tonight. Again, a check of our Signature Roofing scoreboard update. Signature Roofing online at mysignatureroofing.com. Re-roof, repair, estimates, inspections, all your roofing needs. Hit up mysignatureroofing.com. The Boise State at Wyoming game is the first game tonight at 6:30. You've got Air Force at Colorado State at 7. San Jose State is at Nevada at 8. Those 3 games are on the Mountain West Network. And then you have UNLV at Utah State. And that game is at 9 o'clock tonight, and that is on FS1. The other 3 games all have a spread in Vegas at 16 points or higher. So that these should not be much of a game. The Colorado State favored by 20, Nevada favored by 17, Utah State favored by 16, and that Boise State Wyoming line is at 1 right now, actually for Wyoming. So that's going to be the only projected to be close game tonight. But when that Utah State UNLV game ends about 11 p.m. tonight Mountain Time, you can turn on another night in the Mountain West with Tom Moser, and he'll have all the coverage right there on our new YouTube channel. It's Mountain West. It's youtube.com/@ Mountain West BNN. So make sure you check that out and subscribe to our new YouTube channel. And obviously, you can watch all those shows and stay up to date on all of the Mountain West, not just Boise State. So John Buchanan is ready for tonight. Son, get some rest, man. He works the night shift. You need to get to bed and get some sleep here and get ready for tonight. Sun Cruiser night. So there you go. So folks are excited to see Javen. Saw him walking by the team hotel here just a short time ago. So again, full coverage coming tonight. This is a big one, folks, for Boise State. As I said, Wyoming plays at home. They're tougher to beat at home. No doubt about it. They give up a lot of free throws, by the way, and Boise State's very good at free throws. So that's one area I think Boise State needs to try to attack, is getting to the free throw line. Wyoming fouls a lot and gives up a lot of points at the free throw line, and Boise State is a very good free throw shooting team. But you look at the Boise State, offense is 117th. The Wyoming defense is 118th. So it's pretty even there. And then the Wyoming offense is 89th, and the Boise State defense is 49th. So certainly, as you heard Tim Duryea say earlier in the show, and if you came on late, Tim Duryea, assistant coach, great interview talking about the offense, talking about Dylan Andrews, and talking about the game tonight. So make sure you go on there and check that out. But Boise State has got to limit the turnovers tonight. You cannot let Wyoming run out in transition. You got to rebound the ball. Boise State, is got rebounded out, 3 games in a row there when they lost the rebounding battle and lost the game. So got to continue to rebound the ball, got to continue to work inside of the paint. As you heard him say, they're a little thin on the interior. So try to really work on getting it inside, attacking the paint, getting to the free throw line, not settling for threes. And then, as we said, not turning the ball over. And certainly the ball movement. Got to have ball movement tonight. You can't let the ball stick. And, even though maybe you have a good shot, give it up one more for somebody, to have a great shot, and Boise State over the years has been a really good ball movement team. That has to continue tonight. This Wyoming team, very interesting. They pulled a lot of guys off lower level rosters, D2 guys, that they use the money ball approach, where they find guys with stats and numbers, and frankly, kind of what the Boise State football team is doing, getting guys from JUCO and lower levels and guys that put up big numbers elsewhere, and how does that fit into what they're trying to do? So Wyoming doesn't have nearly the NIL budget that some of these schools have, and so they've had to go about it a different way, and they've really pieced this roster together with a lot of different guys from different backgrounds and different places, and they've all come together, and they're having a pretty nice season here for Wyoming. So they're 11-7 on the season. They have lost 3 games in a row, though, so you want to try to kick them while they're down, I guess, so to speak. And they're coming off a tough loss, 63-60, a close game, back and forth game, a game they probably should have won at Fresno State on Saturday, and they had to travel back and get ready for a home game. But they're on a 3-game losing streak. They've lost 4 or 5. They are, really struggling right now. They've lost 4 or 5, and I think 6 out of 8 as well. So they're struggling right now, but overall the numbers are pretty good. They've still improved 50 spots at Ken Palm from the beginning of the season, and I think that if what we saw for a good chunk of the UNLV game and then what we saw against Colorado State can continue, I think this team's going to be in a pretty good spot moving forward here. And we talked about the schedule, but if you can find a way to win this game tonight, you've got Air Force and San Jose in your next games, and that would get you back to 500 in league. You could be on a 4-game winning streak. You could get to 13-8, 5-5 in league, and that's not great. That's not where anybody wants to be. But when you're 1-5, you'll take 5-5. So you gotta just get back to 500, get out of this hole here in conference play, and start to see what you can do. But this is the portion of the schedule that Boise State really needs to take advantage of. It these next 3 games tonight is a sneaky, tricky, tough game. Like I said, I mean, Wyoming is favored. Wyoming is the Vegas favorite to win this game tonight. Wyoming is the Ken Palm favorite to win this game tonight. So Boise State would be an upset, believe it or not, if Boise State wins this game tonight. And so according to the numbers, so if Boise State's able to come here and get a hard-fought, tough win, then it gets a little bit lighter with Air Force and San Jose in the next 2 games. And then you go to Grand Canyon, which is certainly going to be a tough place to play. You just saw Utah State go there and lose. But then you get Nevada at home after that. So you've got UNLV at home coming up. So there's certainly some winnable games left on this schedule. And like I said, it starts tonight in what is going to be a very crucial game. So attack the paint, get to the free throw line, don't settle for threes, ball movement, don't let the ball stick, dribble, drive, get into the paint. You can kick out for some threes if guys are open, but really attack that paint. It all starts there, and you got to win that rebounding. Boise State has to win the rebounding edge tonight. And again, the turnovers that cannot lead to easy live ball turnovers, the non-steal turnovers. Boise State ranks 279th. 279th in the country, non-steal turnover percentage, over 8% of their possessions. And we're talking any turnover that's not a steal, a shot clock violation, throwing the ball out of bounds, a 5-second call, a offensive foul, any turnover that's not from the other team stealing it, which are mostly, self-inflicted wounds. Boise State ranks 279th in the country in that stat. So Boise State has to take away the critical turnovers, and they got to take away the steals as well. Some of those in the UNLV game just led to easy dunks at the other end. You can't have those. You can't let your offense turn into the other team's offense. And so the defense is going to be imperative tonight. You can't let Wyoming get going. Can't let them get some confidence. They have not been drawing. They have not had great crowds for the most part here in Laramie. So it's going to be one of those weird, sneaky games where you don't get much of a crowd. And, we'll see what that ends up looking like, but it's a weird atmosphere. It's tough to play in the elevation, and I would say Boise State, Leon typically subs a lot of guys, and he already plays a lot of guys, so that helps them probably tonight that they have 9-10 deep. They feel like they can go, but typically in his previous games here and years here, this has been a place where he has really gone to the bench. He's kind of figured out the subbing patterns here with this elevation and had a lot of guys play, and a lot of guys, they rotate and keep guys fresh. And you're at over 7,000 feet of elevation. It's the number 1 elevation in all of college athletics. So nobody plays college basketball, college football, college athletics at a higher elevation than Boise State will play tonight here at Wyoming. So it's interesting because you're not really on a mountain. You just kind of gradually kind of raise up. And so it's interesting. You don't feel like it's right here in the middle of the a mountain range or something, like you're on top of Pikes Peak, but you're high up here. You're certainly high up here, the highest elevation over 7,000 feet. And so we'll see if Coach Rice brought out the beet juice and all the tricks and things for tonight. But big one for Boise State. Looking forward to it. Again, thank you to all of you for watching. Thank you to all of you for hitting that subscribe button and that like button down here in the corner of the screen. It all helps. Thank you for subscribing. We've got our 50% off annual rate right now at BroncoNationNews.com. You can support our efforts by subscribing at BroncoNationNews.com. You can support our efforts by visiting and supporting all of our great sponsors. And again, other than Bob and Abe and KTIK, Learfield, Bronco Radio Network on the radio side, there are no other media outlets that made this trip to Wyoming. So you're getting exclusive coverage here from Wyoming, exclusive coverage tonight. And from pregame, postgame, we'll be live with both. And so hopefully you recognize that and you guys return the favor by, like I said, supporting our sponsors that help make these shows possible and this travel possible to be on the road here with the basketball team. So thank you guys. Appreciate you. Thank you to the hotel here for letting us take over the lobby for an hour. I don't think I'll give out the name or anything if there's any haters out there that want to pull the fire alarm or something. But appreciate everybody. Thanks again to Tim Duryea for stopping by on a game day and giving us 12, 13 minutes of his time. Thank you to Jay Tust as well. We'll have the pregame show coming up at 5:30. This is an early 6:30 start time, 6:30 start time. So 5:30 will be the pregame. So if you're still at work, you're getting ready for dinner, earlier than normal, 3 hours earlier than some games, but 5:30 will be the pregame show tonight. So whatever you're doing, make your plans now. 5:30, the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show here from the Arena Auditorium in Laramie. Again, we're in the Sun Cruiser Studios, the mobile Sun Cruiser Studios. Make sure you pick up a Sun Cruiser, whether it's the vodka iced teas, whether it's the vodka lemonades, multiple options, flavors, and we appreciate Sun Cruiser. Perfect night to enjoy some Sun Cruisers with the game like we know the Buchanan family will be doing. And, of course, our title sponsor, Lithia Ford of Boise. They got some great deals, specials going on right now. We're going to be broadcasting from there, I think, next week at some point or the week after. But we appreciate our new title sponsor, Jim Sturk, Jamie Drake, the whole crew over at Lithia Ford of Boise. You should know by now, but they support a lot of the players, a lot of the coaches, a lot of the administrators with vehicles. So nobody supports Boise State any more than Jim Sturk and Lithia Ford of Boise. So when you're ready for that next car or truck purchase, make it over at Lithia Ford of Boise. Appreciate the kind words, Tyree, and I know you always watch the shows. Always appreciate you for that. So State College, PA, we have someone watching from. Awesome. Thank you for that. So enjoy the game tonight, folks. Let's see you at 5:30. Come on back at 5:30. That gives you a couple hours to go subscribe at BroncoNationNews.com. Gives you time to get in the message boards there and chat with folks. And we'll keep the that's our goal. We're trying to get to 10,000 subs on YouTube before the football season opener. That would be an amazing goal if we could get there. We're pushing 8,000 now. I think we're at about 7,600 or so. So we're pushing. That might be a little bit of a tough goal, but I would love to get to 10,000 subs before football opener. That'd be great. We got 228 days, it sounds like, to do that before the game against Oregon. So appreciate you guys. Thanks so much. Go support the sponsors. Go subscribe, like, and share this video, and tell your friends about BNN. And we will see you at 5:30. 5:30, the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show live from the Arena Auditorium. We'll show you warm-ups. We'll have Abe Jackson live. We'll get you set for tip-off. Boise State and Wyoming, a big one for the Broncos tonight. Really need to win this game, and it would be a huge kind of swing game to get this season back on track here. And we'll have full coverage, exclusive coverage. The only local media, independent media outlet that made the trip here to Laramie is Bronco Nation News, and we'll have you covered starting at 5:30 with that pregame show from the Arena Auditorium. Go subscribe, tell your friends, and we'll see you at 5:30. Bronco Nation News, online, BroncoNationNews.com. Take care, everybody.
Find your sun with Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. Cold, refreshing, and made for moments like these all year long. Let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser.
Really, guys?
What? Jackson's always has those game records.
Let's go!
It's the all-wheel drive event at Lithia Ford of Boise. From hunting trips to ski trips to trips to Grandma's house. Nobody does AWD like LFB, Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.